find out that I'm the diversity hire here, the only one that's from Barcelona, born and raised here. So yeah, I guess they just invited me to fit some criteria, right? Uh, yeah. So quick intro about me. I've been doing recruitment for about 10 years, so hopefully I know what it's about. I spent 4 years in London doing agency, then moved back to Barcelona and worked for a bunch of different companies, French, American, British. I was at Booking.com with one of my ex-colleagues here. I was there for 2 years until I joined Andela. I thought 25 seconds went by quicker than this, to be honest. We can move on. Okay, so what is Andela? Andela is a talent marketplace for software developers. What we do is we connect software developers mainly in emerging markets, basically Africa and Latin America, with companies in the US mainly. You can see some of the milestones here, but you're probably wondering about the flags. So even though the company is American, it was founded in Africa, and still today most of our talent community is based across Nigeria, Ghana, Rwanda, Egypt, and out of the milestones worth mentioning, the 200 million Series E that we got back in 2021 that has propelled our recent expansion. Okay. I really practiced 22 seconds. I think that's what's happening. So why did I leave a great company like Booking to join Andela? So first, I've worked for very diverse companies, but never for a company founded in Africa, for which I was very curious. Then the mission of connecting brilliance with opportunity really resonated with me. I've been an expat living in London. And the opportunity of participating in the growth of the company, we've doubled the size of our teams in this year alone. Then Nick invited me to do this. I said yes very quickly. Then I thought, well, I'm going to tell you all. So in order to recruit diversity, it has to be the company's top priority. Otherwise, it's you against the world, really. And luckily at Andela, it is. Okay. I cannot do the dance as well as she did. No. So some facts, stats. So 450 people in staffing, more than 30 countries. 41% of our company is female, and we work 100% remote. We have no offices. Now, this is super cool, but it's a kind of a given, because when you tell the recruitment teams you can hire almost everywhere, naturally you become more diverse, at least on paper. But what intentional steps do we take to actually be more diverse? So we have special programs to bring more women to technology-related jobs, and we partner with some companies and resources in order to keep a focus in diverse hiring. Textio, for anyone that's writing a copy, I highly recommend it. They don't pay me to say this, honestly, but it's super cool. And Power to Fly, which is a diversity recruiting and retention platform that connects underrepresented groups with us. So what else do? We check culture at rather than culture fit. I don't have a culture fit criteria. We look for people that are different. And actually our recruitment teams are very different. Again, I'm the only Spanish there. And so we're naturally inclined to recruit more diverse. We have a strong referrals program. Again, we work 100% remote, so we hire where the talent is rather than where we want them to be. And then we've won several awards. We're part of Inc. 5000 for our 3-year growth. We're part of Quartz, Best Companies for Remote Workers. And back in July, we had the Offsite in Montreal, the first company Offsite, so I got to meet a lot of our colleagues. Here's Jeremy, the CEO. And in these two pictures, there's more than 10 different nationalities combined, which is pretty cool. So, okay, enough about Andela, but they do pay me, unlike Textio, to be here, so you know. How to recruit diverse talent? Depending on where you sit in the company, your span of control will be different, right? So I've divided it between HR and business leaders and my fellow recruiters. Okay. Come on. I'm not dancing, I'm telling you. So for HR and business leaders, hold your C leadership accountable. If your leaders do support diversity and inclusion, everyone else will. So also incorporate diversity and inclusion metrics. What doesn't get measured doesn't get done. If you don't have them yet, incorporate it. And on the holding the C leadership accountable, I mean, this is wrong, but essentially the third point, can we go back one sec? The third point is about how to tie executive compensation perhaps to diversity and inclusion metrics. Starbucks and Nike and other companies are doing that already, and that's a way for the company to really be more diverse. Now we can go one more, sorry. Conduct inclusion audits, offer formal DIY training to your employees, probably starting by the recruiters, that's a good starting point, and design workplaces that are accessible to everyone so your teams feel that they belong. Okay, come on, yes. No, God, no, I'm running away. Okay, support employee resource groups. If the company is not big enough, then affinity groups. And a few colleagues here have mentioned this, close the pay gap, because no company is truly inclusive if it pays two people differently for comparable amount of work. So that's super key. And it's difficult, I get it, but if we strive towards that goal, then hopefully we'll achieve it someday. Now, to my fellow recruiters, take time to source a diverse group of candidates. If you don't do it, no one else will. And in order to do that, for instance, at Tendala we focus on skills, not schools. So when you advertise your roles, don't mention degrees, because there's many different ways of learning. Take time to, widen your pipeline. So partner with organizations, LGBTQI, whatever it is. Now, a practical exercise, because it's like very easy to say strategies, but so for the ones that use LinkedIn supports full Boolean search capability. Say you have a team of engineers and you're looking to add some diversity into your team. So the diversity you're seeking, for instance, could be looking for somebody who comes from a historically black college or university. So there's very conveniently a list on Wikipedia. And that's just one example of diversity and inclusion recruitment strategies. The other one is acknowledge your own biases when it comes to sourcing candidates. LinkedIn recently also featured an option to hide photos and names, which makes that unconscious bias perhaps go away a little bit. But this is a very ongoing subject. I read about it every day, and you have to go into it with an open mind. It was also mentioned to build a referral network, and when the more diverse that referral network, the more diverse talent you will get, because diverse talent attracts diverse talent indeed. And watch out the words on your job listing. So avoid using gender coded words, jargon, and emphasize your commitment to diversity and inclusion. Then when it comes to the interview process, there's a great article here, 10 ways to reduce interview bias. I would highlight here, keep the same interviews, because every interview should be the same, interview questions. So script those interviews. Use candidate scorecards and have a proper debrief with the hiring teams to make sure that the process is as far from bias as possible. On the interview panel side, build a diverse interview panel, because a diverse interview panel will mean diversity of opinion and diversity of thought, essentially. And recruiters and hiring managers must work together. So the goal of a recruiter is to bring a diverse candidate pool, and then the goal of a hiring manager is to bring diversity within the company. So to take home, just a summary here. Hiring a diverse workforce is not just an HR or recruitment topic, it's the company's topic. So everyone's responsible for this. What gets measured gets done. If you don't have diversity and inclusion metrics, make sure you're including them. Invest time in generating a diverse pool of talent, recruiters. If you don't do it, no one else will. Keep your biases in check. And in the end, rethink the whole recruitment process, from the interview script, the interview panels, and work with your hiring managers. Thank you.